Hindi marinig si Weatherlight. Microphone issue yata.
Okay, sige. Hello, good evening everyone. Welcome to Hearthstone PH Battlegrounds Showdown. We are going to see the top 8 players from the past 2 tournaments from last weekend. The winners from the special exam, RainyDaze, Mapo, PinkPaw, and WiffWaff, along with the top 2 to 5 of the Visayas tournament. Philip Renz, JCtepi, and Pageway. And co-casting with me is MACnavy. Hello, MACnavy.
Hello. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening, guys. This is MACnavy. This is MACnavy, and I was the top one player at the tournament last Saturday. The Battlegrounds qualifier in this event. So unfortunately I cannot join in this event because yung top one hindi makakasali. So the second until to the fifth, uh, top two to fifth will be playing now with the rest of Philippine players. And we apologize that we do not have cams because we do not want you to see our disgusting pimples and facial expressions.
Okay, so I think some of our viewers are also wondering bakit nga top 2 to 5 ng Visayas tournament ang kasali dito sa showdown. Well, ayun nga, apparently, hinarang ni MACnavy yung tournament. Pero yeah, I think he is too talented. Kumbaga, para, di ba? Di ba, MACnavy?
Hindi naman. I have some
That-
bishops
that-
there. I have some bishops there sa before the finals of that qualifier. So, and then nakachamba lang
Bal-
and then I
Bale
think
sinabi ng AKG, bawal ka na daw sumali ng tournament nila kasi masyado ka raw
hindi
magaling.
hindi
Harang ka
naman.
daw, kumbaga.
I think there's
Yeah,
player
of course,
there's
man.
a
I'm
player
just kidding. I'm just kidding. The other 8 people, of course, in our showdown, uh, are also very gifted battlegrounds players. Sige, I think we should talk about the contestants for tonight, MacTV. Let me start na lang. Let's introduce, first of all, RainyDaze. Siyempre, the HSPH community knows who RainyDaze is.
loved
Bale,
by
the resident lover boy of HSPH does not discriminate. He's very talented when it comes to card games, only being matched by his talent in love. Next is, of course, another resident favorite, si Mapo. Mapo, as we all know, is a very illustrated BG player dito sa Philippines. He's one of our top players. He also streams in his page. Mapo Gaming, you can search that in Facebook. Follow niyo. Kapag nag-stream si Mapo, it's very entertaining to watch because he really shows his talent on stream. Next is, of course, Pinkpo, another streamer. You can also follow him in Pinkpo Gaming. Isa sa mga batak natin na mga players to. Almost day in, day out, always spamming rank sa Battlegrounds. You can always see him online playing rank. Sometimes he streams. He doesn't stream as much anymore, pero nonetheless, he's also a very talented player. If I'm not mistaken, he's also one of our 5-digit MMR players in the Philippines, so definitely one of our top players as well. Susunod naman, nako, if
Oh,
sabi ko, if there is an antagonist in this tournament, this is it.
WiffWaff.
Everybody knows who WiffWaff is. Diba? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the people here in the tournament are thinking na manalo na lang lahat, wag lang si WiffWaff. That's how intimidated they are when it comes to WiffWaff. Ako, 'di ba? Alam mo 'yan, MACnavy, 'di ba? Kapag in our own private lobbies,
Our
kapag basta
private
kapag si
lobbies.
WiffWaff, shit, si
Bugin!
WiffWaff, di pwede manalo si WiffWaff. Oh my God. Tangina, matalo na tayo lahat. Wag lang mag-first si WiffWaff. Kahit si Kara, papanalunin nyo na.
Well, WiffWaff naman is somewhat promising naman. He, for me, knowing WiffWaff, he started as a low MMR player, and then when playing with us with the private lobbies, and also coach, being coached by our own Mapo, and you also sometimes, well, he gains the respect of all other Battlegrounds players here in the Philippines.
Pero in all seriousness nga, WiffWaff is a very wonderful person. I've seen his improvement all throughout these previous weeks. He's really improved his game. He's really leveled up his game. Maybe that's why the parang everybody's saying na I don't want to lose to WiffWaff kasi before, 'di ba? Uh, no offense to WiffWaff, pero before when we play with WiffWaff, he's usually the bottom feeder. So it kind of stuck to the play group, to the HSPH community that si WiffWaff, lagi naman 7, 8. Pero ngayon, 'di ba? The past few tournaments, he's been finishing in high positions, 'di ba? Actually, WiffWaff was also one of the reasons why I didn't get high finish in the last tournament. If WiffWaff didn't eliminate me, I would have placed higher. Ganon kalupit yan si WiffWaff. So, moving on, MACnavy. Could you introduce the people from the Visayas region naman?
Okay, moving on, I will introduce my Kapwa Bisaya friends. Starting off with Philip. Philip, as I remember, he joined a last Battleground squad, and he is his teammate is formidable Jude Quinn. Jude Quinn was, I think, the best out of there at the tournament. And sadly, Jude Quinn did not join our qualifiers because of some priorities and stuff. And also we have Renz. Renz was the duo partner of Pageway from at the last Battlegrounds Challengers. Yeah, Challenger series. Renz also, after that, Renz is also joining us in our private lobbies, right? Weatherlight. Um, the I can see on this guy that he is succeeding some of the lobbies, and also I think, as I remember, I have an intense battle with him in the finals of of the last qualifier we had. I remembered it was 8 turns before it was decided that I won on that. So I think Renz is the dark horse here in the tournament. And
Ah, apart
also,
apart
mm,
from BG, I know si Renzel madalas rin sumasali sa mga standard tournaments. Actually,
yeah,
lahat ata, anything Hearthstone related, tournaments and everything, sasalihan yan. So
sasalian.
it's not surprising that he's here representing the Visayas region.
Yeah. And then we have JCtepi. Honestly, I'm not familiar with him, but as I remembered, he won last few months in Enlis Wisbang tournament. So JCtepi also, I can see in this guy he's also striving for being a good Battlegrounds player. And then we
Hindi
have
rin madali
Steve.
manalo dun sa Whiz Bang tournament ni Enly, ah.
Oh, syempre, wild na kasi eh.
Oo, kahit
I
ako
was very
natatakot
deep
ako
first
sumali
time.
doon kasi di ko alam kung ano bang ma-expect ko, and JCtepi was able to navigate the field and was able to win.
Mhm.
Good job to JCtepi.
And then, last but not least, we have Page Wei Gigi. Page Wei is, is my teammate at Battleground Squads. Actually, she was the one invited me to join on their team, substituting their teammate Tart. And Paige Ray is also a streamer. She streams every day for the various games. She plays Wild Rift, she plays Battlegrounds, sometimes Dota 2. And all I can say with this player, she's good, somewhat good and play at her best. Um, I think she's having a hard time sometimes. She always blames Bob for everything that for having misfortunes, for having missed rolls, low rolls. But if she has a good start, she will carry it until the end. So Paige Wei is also formidable at this tournament. She's
And being
also
the only female
the only
contestant in
female
this
here in the
tournament,
tournament.
right?
Yeah.
Diba? We're
Girl
expecting a
power.
lot from Paige.
If she wins this, she will prove that the girl power is dominant than us men.
Just to
So
just to clarify lang rin to our viewers, this is not a team competition. It just so happens that we took the top four from two separate tournaments. This is actually a battle royale. Bali, ang matira ang matibay kumbaga. Only the top players will get the prize. So, sorry. Then could you bring back the scoring system? Mhm. Uh, the nawala
okay.
yung sa screen eh,
Uh,
sorry.
okay. So the scoring, Weatherlight. I'm gonna want to to roll call the scoring. The first play. We have 4 rounds. In this tournament. Each player will receive points, and then it will be tallied at the end. Then, if ever there's a tiebreaker, um, the player that has the most first place finish will be ano uh higher one in the placement. So the scorings are for the first place we have 7 points, the second place 6 points, uh third place 5 points, fourth place 4 points, and then fifth place 3 points, seventh place the sixth place 2 points, the seventh place 1 point, and the last place will receive 0 points.
Okay, so
Uh,
ang premyo for this tournament would be a standard bundle for the top two players. This will be played across 4 rounds. Actually, pwede natin siguro tanungin ng ano natin, ang viewers natin sa Twitch, kung sino ang gusto nilang spectate natin muna. Okay ba yon?
okay.
So we are setting up the poll for who we want to spectate first.
Then the players are getting ready
Uh,
now.
as we are also getting ready, ikaw, MACnavy, kamusta ka naman ba? Kamusta? Ano bang almusal mo kanina?
Di ako nag-almusal kanina eh. Because tinanghali na ng gising. Dahil, some of our players here is practicing, was practicing. Um, last night until 3 a.m. we play rank with WiffWaff and friends. Yeah, they're so devoted that they, they stayed up until 3 a.m. just to practice and preparing for this tournament.
Actually, oo, alam natin 'yan, 'di ba? Kahit naman nga walang tournament, araw-araw gano'n pa rin naman ang schedule ng ating mga HSPH Battlegrounds players. Sa mga gusto sumali actually ng ano, ng private lobbies ng Battlegrounds, ng HSPH, we have a Discord sa AKG Games. Usually, we start playing at around this time. Actually, kung wala lang tournament, would be having our own private lobbies ongoing until the wee hours of the morning. So, ang mga ibang mga viewers dyan na gusto sumali, pwede naman kayong mag-message and we'll add you up.
We have also the group chat at Facebook, so you can drop your IGN, your in-game name, and then I just PM you and then add you, and you can join to our private lobbies. Because mostly I am the room master, right? During our private lobbies, so I'm the one adding you, and
Kapag
then you have a
ginalit
chat.
nyo si MACnavy, guys, hindi kayo makakasali sa private lobbies.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so the community has spoken. We watch WiffWaff on our very first on the very first round. Sige, sige. So I guess everybody's readying up. We'll just wait for the signal from Enly if they are about to start.
Weatherlight. So Weatherlight. Tayo, sino yung favorite mo dito manalo? Or who are you rooting for in this tournament?
Madaling ano 'yon. Anyone but WiffWaff. Joke lang. Actually, I'm not rooting for anybody in particular. I just want to see some really good Battlegrounds gameplay. 'Di ba? So,
Mm.
para ang community, ang ating mga viewers ang manalo. Bakit? Ikaw ba? May sarili ka bang manok dito sa tournament na 'to?
Uh, Hindi naman sa manok, pero I guess I'm rooting for WiffWaff. It's not because we hate him. Uh, it's because hindi naman sa galit tayo sa kanya, pero well, WiffWaff is striving hard to climbing up the ranks. So I can see in his determination na gusto niyang manalo dito to, well, to gain so much respect, and then so that we have a big reason to um beat with Waff. Meron na tayong Thailand para bugbugin na
Oo, mas
natin.
mas mas exciting
Bugbugin
talunin si
natin yung
WiffWaff
Waff
kapag
pag nanalo.
nanalo si WiffWaff, 'di
Oo.
ba? 'Di ba parang sabihin natin si WiffWaff mag-champion ngayon. Mamaya pagkatapos syempre we're gonna have our own private lobbies na naman and then we're gonna face WiffWaff and then we beat him. As we can tell ourselves, parang champion na rin tayo kasi nanalo natin si WiffWaff.
Oo nga naman.
Pero FYI lang rin, actually, I've been noticing as well, ang hirap na talunin ni WiffWaff ngayon.
Okay.
Okay, according to Enly pala na they are already starting their first round. So sige, we are jumping to
If
WiffWaff for the very first
Waff
round.
prospect. Okay.
I can see the choices.
Seven fresh
Pinag
opponents. Are you ready?
ayaw pakita sa atin ni WiffWaff.
I am spectating with Waff now, so I can roll
Oh.
call the players with their heroes. If Waff is playing right now, Edwin Van Cleef. Apo is playing Kael'Thas, the Sunstrider. PinkPaw is playing the Queen Wagtagal. Renz is playing the Rafam. JCtepi is playing Maiev.
Don't tell me
Philip
others.
is playing
I'm rooting
Galakron.
for you.
RainyDaze is playing Elise. And Pageway is playing Tess Grayman. Tess Grayman. So, wow.
There are no
Imagine
Murlocs and Pirates in this lobby.
Warlocks and
I've got the
Pirates.
For
signals
the
for
viewers
withdrawal.
out there, Murlocs and Pirates are banned in this lobby. Very interesting lobby. Actually, it's a very it's the situation is tilted against WiffWaff's favor because most of the other heroes his competitors are using are tiered higher than what he's using right now, which is Edwin Van Cleef.
It's not the
Actually,
strongest, but it'll fight hard.
everything else is really better.
Mm,
Interesting play from
I think you can win
we,
WiffWaff
this
here.
thing.
He skipped tiering to 2, opting to buy a minion and buffing the micro mommy.
do you agree buffing the Micro Mummy instead of the Protector?
I think in all honesty, uh what WiffWaff was trying to do was hitting
Nice
on the
work out
Rafam.
there.
But
Keep it up.
because of the mispositioning of the minions, he was still able to give a minion to Rafam instead of denying him a potential free minion. Okay,
Then,
with still opting to stay at tier 1. He's
well,
getting really behind on tiers here, but
Mr. Turn
I
did
think
not
you can
empower.
win this thing.
I think he valued the 1 gold from Alicat more uh than the +2/+2, which I think is passable.
And then I think previous turn buff the Micro Mummy,
Your
thinking that
team has really pulled their
thinking that
weight.
the Micro Mummy will stay until late game. That's why I think he buffed the Micro Mummy instead of the Protector.
That's actually what's good about that's actually what's good about mechs. You could invest a lot on the mechs that you get early game with the payoff of getting an Annoyo module into the mechs that you've grown.
Oh, but now he buffed the Protector. I think he's thinking to triple the Protector here, and then let the Protector carry the game until the late also.
I think
Everyone's
he's just
feeling it.
disseminating
Watch out.
stats favorably across the board, leaving nothing too strong or too weak.
And he is being he's not punished by that for now.
This is actually very surprising. It's it's actually turning out really well for him so far, so good. I think the reason why he's able to have a decent
Nice
board
work out
in
there.
relation to his
Keep up the pressure.
competitors, it's because he has 2 divine shield minions and the scaling that is given by the micro mummy. So he hasn't been dropping a single round as of yet. But yeah, he has to look to better his minion pool going to the mid game now.
It's not the strongest, but it'll fight hard.
Just a segue a bit,
Drop a
Weatherlight.
minion and up a
Do you
goal.
think that uh, Van Cleef's hero power would be nerfed or would be buffed? I mean, to do you remember Major Domu, the buff of Major Domu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives 1/1 now, even though you don't have any elementals played this turn.
Let's see
Would
if
you
you
think
can
that
stay on
they
top.
would buff and win on the next patch with that pro power also? Give 1/1 even though you don't buy anything.
That is not far from happening. In my opinion, Van Cleef is one of the less exciting heroes in the meta. He's not too strong, he's not too weak, but he is very underwhelming. Like a lot of heroes definitely already outclass what Van Cleef does. There was a time before that Van Cleef was one of the best heroes in Battlegrounds. Funny enough, but yes, he's definitely became really underpowered ever since.
Yeah, he's being underpowered for every patch because of new types revealed, and then also new heroes joining at the pool. So and then the new heroes being well being created as
Oh,
overpowered
the
hero. Yeah.
tama, the power creep is real kumbaga. I think with WAF just forgot to place the spawn in the first position. No, never mind. He placed a spawn in the
Yeah.
first position upon
He,
realizing that he was not against Rafam anymore.
he put the
One's gonna
protector at
go.
the
Watch out.
previous round because he was facing Rafam.
Okay, this is a
So
scary round for WiffWaff as well because as you can see, the Galakron has already discovered. No, sorry. Eventually found an Imp Mama from his hero power.
and then there's also the Hank, Angry Dragon. So if Galakron wins here, the Hungry Dragon will scale. But
But unfortunately
unfortunately,
for Philip,
yeah, for Philip,
WiffWaff takes out round again. It's already the seventh turn, and WiffWaff has yet to lose any life so far.
Nice work.
WiffWaff has currently 5 winning streaks now. Considering playing Van Cleef,
Okay, looks like we might be seeing our first elimination of this round. Page with 1 HP against WiffWaff. That's also
I'm
the problem with Tess. As you can see, the entire lobby has ways to create tempo, while as Tess, you're always operating a turn or two behind from your competitors. I think that's a testament to the problem with Tess that even if she was recently buffed, it might not yet be enough.
So many viewers. Let's see if
hmm,
you can stay on top.
okay.
With Faf thinking that possibly Page is really weak, he could proceed to tearing up to be able to scale at the same rate as the rest of the lobby. But yes, I think WiffWaff will take a beating here. So what Page
So
gets to live another day. WiffWaff taking 11 damage from
that's the first
first
time. The
down to
first time.
second.
I've got some fresh recruits for you.
So matanong ka naman, MACnavy, kamusta naman itong bagong patch para sa'yo? How do you feel about the new patch?
Well, honestly, playing this patch is very difficult for me. Well, I agree for some players saying that the last patch was a no-brainer because you just need to last patch you just need to tier up until and then discover a 5 tier minion and then get the genie or nomi, and then you instantly win the lobby if you're the first one to get on that point. But now I think it's for me it's very difficult, yet it's very fun because the meta right now is so diverse that you can play anything you want in your own tempo.
Actually, agree ako doon, MACnavy. The meta right now is far from solved. Like, from the very first few days of the meta, how I saw it was everything is playable.
Oh, I
Like,
am. Mm-mm. Okay.
but when I try to recreate the same lineups, the same compositions in subsequent games, uh it doesn't necessarily work out how as I intended it to be. Like, in the first few days, I was sort of lost on the reason why it's like that. There's some inconsistencies with the compositions.
Okay. As
I'm
we
sorry.
are
We
games,
we
yeah.
we we we, we missed we missed the turn from the whiff the we missed the WiffWaff against JCtepi turn. JCtepi already having Kalik Gauss as early as turn 8.
Uh, with Waff on in that round, but this is the scary part of playing Van Cleef. If you do not maximize your hero power or using your hero power, you're gonna scale slowly. You're gonna scale, yeah, you're gonna scale slowly, and you're gonna be behind on other heroes here in the mid.
Going back to what I was saying, Naren MACnavy, the strategies that I was employing wasn't very consistent. So I think that ties in sa sinasabi mo rin na this new patch is very difficult.
Mhm.
I think the reasoning for that is we were too spoiled with the previous lobby where everybody is just forcing elementals. Diba? Each and every hero, no matter what your hero is, you already know that you have to play elementals if you want to take first place. But now we also have to take into account the overall strength of the lobby that you're in. Hindi na yung pwede yung basta-basta na parang, gusto ko i-try itong ano to, strategy na to. Pero apparently, hindi pala po pwede kasi hindi siya pwede sa lobby because the lobby is way too strong. You are bound to get punished.
I think we can see Renz going down here. Oh no, no, no. He survived survived the whip wap. Survived the whip wap wrath.
We also missed it. Page apparently already being eliminated 2 turns ago by Queen Wagtagel, which
And
is being played by
also,
PinkPaw.
I want to comment last turn. With Waff's last turn. He should have killed Renz
Go
in
ahead and
that
hire one of these
time.
recruits.
I don't know why with Waff sacrificed his micro mommy. He positioned his micro mommy first so that his spawn will not be stolen. But it punished him because the buff of spawn was so late that minions are already dying because of unbuffed minions beside.
It's an example of next level play going really really wrong kumbaga.
And then we can see here that he's not using his hero power. Last turn he did not use his hero power, I think. So I guess he's scaling so slow. Playing Van
Yeah.
Cleef, yeah. When you play Van Cleef, you should hero power every turn.
The
For
trick with
me,
playing Van Cleef is you have to be really efficient with all of your buys. You have to find as many usable moving parts as you can in order for you to be able to maximize that hero power of his. Pero ayun nga, si WiffWaff has been how can you say, very strange whenever he uses his hero power. Parang kulang kumbaga.
oh my. Mapo got uh Lil Rug um the genie. This is scary because Mapo is already 6 and he's just taking just a few damage from WiffWaff. But this is scary because he's gonna scale so fast because of that Lil Rug.
So Wifa finds one of the triples he's been looking for since kanina pa. Uh, that's also one of that's one of the problems why his board is so stuck up because he hasn't been finding any of his triples. Hopefully this is just in the nick of time because he's definitely behind. He's definitely
Yeah,
behind.
and then yung kalaban niya is also a dragon, as a dragon comp, JCtepi, and we all know that JCtepi already got a Caligos
Yes, we know that
third
JCtepi
A.
got the Caligos 3 turns ago, if we're not mistaken. So
He turned
definitely
3 turns ago, yeah.
JCtepi's Dragos are much bigger than what WiffOff has right now.
And then, as I said, if Waf doesn't capitalize the hero power of, of Antif now, he's not using it now, then he should have sold the spawn, and
Or he
then
could have sold the Menagerie mug
I just
and play the dragon instead.
played the dragon. Oh, this is dangerous for WiffWaff.
This is getting really close for comfort for WiffOff. WiffOff is going to take huge damage here.
This is very dangerous for WiffWaff because he cannot he's much slower in scaling than the rest
Going out there.
of the heroes in the lobby, and
But
luckily he
WiffOff is gonna have a break because he's gonna be facing the ghost
the ghost
of
of
Philip, who was also eliminated in the previous round. This will give him a few turns to be able to buff his dragons to be up to par with the rest of the lobby.
Not the
This
strongest,
might be even be good enough for him to be able to get a top 4 finish if one or two other players get eliminated in this round. Surprisingly, WiffOff is still holding on to that spawn.
as I said last turn, needs to sell the spawn so that the other dragons should be buffed. Instead, the bronze warden in his hand is already stuck without buff. Supposedly, he is buffed right now for 3 times or 4.
Finally, WiffOff deciding to throw the throw the spawn of Nazot. But yes, it's a bit too late for that.
But I am not convinced also by dropping the Hungry Dragon. He should have
I think you
dropped the
can
Bronze
win
Warden
this
instead.
thing.
Maybe he's thinking that he is supposed to win this round. That's why the that's why he opted to play the Hungry Dragon instead to get +2 buffs. Sayang din, kumbaga.
Oo nga.
But yeah, I also agree that he should have played the Bronze Warden instead. Okay, are we seeing
Oh,
WiffWaff dying to a ghost here?
oh,
Oh no! Okay, that was really close. That was really close. We weren't expecting the Galacron to be that powerful. But yeah, apparently Philip got done in by PinkPaw playing Wag Toggle, which is also surprising because PinkPaw just lost this round. He
well, I can
also he was also eliminated by Bapo.
That one might
Mapo.
make
Well, I can imagine that anyone here will lose to Mapo because of that Lil Rug. Of that Lil Rug he got from last turn he battled WiffWaff. So well, Mapo can take a bunch of damage there, but he is scaling fast, very fast right now. I don't think WiffWaff can reach the level of Mapo's minions on scaling.
But WiffWaff is trying his best. He doesn't know what's coming, but he's about to find out.
And let's talk about Elise a little bit. Elise is, I think Elise is like Omu, better Omu right now because of the
Definitely. The first time I played Elise after the patch, it wasn't easy first. Like uh playing Omu is a bit weird, to be honest. I don't feel good about playing Omu. But wait, commenting on this round right now, Mapus board is insane. Having a Golden Annihilan and a bunch of
this is rainy
oh, so
days.
sorry. This is RainyDaze's board. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is a really scary board for RainyDaze.
I think
Having
yeah.
the Annihilum Battlemaster already golden at 10 HP.
Then in this
And,
round we
and that,
see
that 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 does whiff off in.
Fluff going forth, and oh, surprisingly, Mapo also being dropped by Mayev.
Okay, so we are going to go spectate Rainy Days now. Yeah, going back to what we were saying, MACnavy, about Elise. She is definitely a much better Omu. The problem with Omu is you are bound by whatever you see in your shop. Diba? Sometimes
Yeah,
it's just not that good. But Elise is able to discover on that turn when you tier up something from the tier that you're in already, which is very powerful.
indeed. And now, well, oh, Mayev ditched Caligos and then went to a menagerie build.
You
Okay,
got
so
this.
JC
You're
Tepi
way
with
ahead.
Sorry,
Dragons
sorry.
against Rainy Days' Menagerie.
Oh,
Actually,
did
it's
it
not
ditch the
that much of a menagerie. It's just mechs and demons. This is probably going to come down to the Annihilum Battlemaster trying to kill as much of JC Tepi's minions.
can JCtepi beat the 17,200 plus Nayalan?
He has a lot of big minions, so this might be really close. Nako! One attack! One attack from the big minions na lang sana.
GG.
Rainy Days taking first place. Pero
So,
yeah, wow, like uh I was well, not really surprised, but more of I was surprised with how big that Annihilation was. 'Di ba? Parang we haven't seen Rayleigh's board since kanina pa. Then wow, meron ng 200 HP minion. 'Di ba? In the previous meta, that is unheard of for Annihilans having any relevance sa late game. Well, usually, merong mga lieutenant guards that are much, much bigger. Pero as you can see right now, yan, Anihilan, it's very, very relevant in
And
this
then
meta.
menagerie build in this meta right now is somewhat going back, being famous because of the light punk, going back also to its former effect.
Actually, Light Fang has always been one of my favorite minions ever since the start of Battlegrounds. Very happy ako na it's been reverted to its old form. Actually, much much better than its old form. Kasi nung una iteration of Light Fang, if I'm not mistaken, it only buffs beasts, murlocs, mechs, and dragons. At yung panahon na yun, wala pang dragons eh. So, kailangan mo yung amalgams na para masulit mo talaga yung Lightfang. Ngayon, it can buff the entire board of 6 other minions.
Well, let's recap on the results or round one. Wait, nope, a link. Can I see the link of the scores? Wait, no, wait. Here, the spreadsheet. Okay, let's just let's do a little recap. Weatherlight before we have a break. This round, RainyDaze getting the first place as Elise, and then second was uh JCtepi playing as Mayev. Third was Apo playing Kael'Thas, and then WiffWaff being fourth playing as Edwin. And we have PinkPaw. Surprisingly, we see Queen Wagtagal here in fifth place. And then Philip as Galacron. This is also surprising. We see him sixth place, a high tier hero. Sadly in sixth place, and then seventh is Renz playing Rafam, and then Edgeway playing Tess in eighth place. So
Okay, so
whether
we are having a 3-minute break uh, just to set things up and para mabigyan rin ng onting pahinga yung mga contestants natin.
and we encourage them to restart the game to avoid disconnections and lags. So
Okay, welcome back guys to Hearthstone Battlegrounds PH Showdown. We are now going to proceed to the second round. And since si RainyDaze yung nanalo kanina, siya ang ating i-spectate now. So kung okay lang ba yun sa mga viewers natin, wala naman violent reactions whatsoever.
Wala naman tayo sigurong haters dito, no?
Si WiffWaff, isa sa mga hater natin yan for sure.
Bahala siya dyan. Lalaro eh.
Pero sige, let's inform our players to get ready na for the second round. So
Let's wait for them to come back from their restart. They
yeah.
restart to a point na.
Okay, so we
So,
are
the match has
spectating
started
rainy
now.
days.
Taking rainy days.
Pero surprising nga yung kanina. Actually, Queen Wag, Toggle, and Galacron finishing 5th and 6th. Okay, rainy days' choice of heroes, Galacron, Dynatamer Brand, Maleficent, Mana Storm, and Zephrys the Great. I think the no-brainer hero pick here is Galacron unless gusto magpasikat ni Rainy Days. Kukuha siya ng something unorthodox.
Then,
The bans
Elise
for this
Tabby,
lobby apparently is there are no demons and dragons. So
so
makita tayo ng favorite ni Ice Stick, the Murloc
luckily for
tribe.
Galacron, he
Hopefully
won't discover Nadina.
Pero hopefully we see Isaac's favorite tribe, which is Burlocks, taking this
Murlocs.
lobby.
My favorite commander is back.
Ah,
Ready to get started.
Syempre, of course, Rayday taking the high
Not the
tier
strongest,
hero
but it'll fight hard.
immediately. Immediately using his hero power on one of the tier 1 minions in the tavern and freezing it. Okay,
We
so roll
mhm,
call, MACnavy.
okay. For rainy days, we have Galacron, a Page Way. She's using right now Queen Wagtagal. Philip is using Ragnaros the Fire Lord. We have
Don't
WiffWaff.
tell the others.
Surprisingly, again, is using Infinite Toki. No. He's using again a low tier minion. Apo is Arch Village Profam. PinkPaw is using Milhouse Mana Storm. JCtepi is using Mr. Bigglesworth. And Renz is using the Mayev.
Hey, we all hit some bumps now and then.
How I see this lobby, MACnavy, is there are a lot of high rolly heroes in the
Rolly
lobby.
Hero.
Nakakatakot, kumbaga, hindi mo matatansya kung ano na ba ay estado ng lobby. We have Mayev and Rafam doing their usual cheaty things. Sabi natin kasi madaya talaga ang ano nila, ang ginagawa nila as opposed to the other heroes. They generate far more resources.
You can win
Diba?
this thing.
Which is further compounded by the high roll of Galacron and pati na rin ng Toki. Then you also have to think about the consistency of Queen Wag Toggle and the potential upside of the Sulfuras activating for Ragnaros. Tapos if di pa yun ang ano, hindi lang pa yun yung problema. Isipin mo, meron pa Mr. Bigglesworth na nag-aabang dyan ng mga mamamatay. So if Mr. Bigglesworth is able to mitigate the damage by the lobby and discover all of the high roll minions from these high roll heroes, it's very possible for even Mr. Bigglesworth to win this.
Well, but I feel pity for Mr. Bigglesworth because all
You
other
can win this
all
thing.
other heroes here have a high scaling capacity. So I don't know if Mr. Bigglesworth can mitigate much damage in this game.
We will see kasi hindi rin natin alam. A lot of the matches nowadays are actually decided on the sequence of opponents that you face.
Got some fresh recruits for you.
Now, Galacron is
As
facing for Millhouse. Ooh, he get it?
As you can
Daror.
see, this is the only time where you could actually beat on Galakron in the first few turns because he doesn't have the luxury of being able to re-roll his shop. Diba? Surprisingly, Galakron still opted not to take. No, he took
Oh,
the
he took it.
Direhorn, maybe fearing that he might take way too much damage from Millhouse Mana Storm.
Yes, it's
Actually,
because of it.
nakakatakot din na baka if he hero powers the Direhorn, it might be something na pagsisisihan niya, ayaw niya makuha, kumbaga.
And then
Eh,
facing Millhouse in this in turn 4 is very scary
a
because
very, very lucky hit for PinkPaw there, sniping the Direhorn in the very first attack. I think PinkPaw would have definitely lost that round if hindi niya na-snipe yung Direhorn. If the Direhorn was able to attack even once, it would have tilted that round to RainyDaze's favor.
see here. Oh,
That wasn't a very good hero power. That was really disappointing. I'm pretty sure Rainy Days is also pretty much disappointed. Maybe to the point of contemplating to roll his shop to be able to see something else, di ba?
oh.
Kung ako yun, nalungkot na ako, ni-roll ko na yung shop.
You can just take the uh ogre here or to mitigate damage, which is he at it.
I think it would have been a better play if he did not hero power on that turn. He just rolled one and then could have replaced his free dealing gambler with another minion of his choice from the tavern 3 shop, and then hero powering a potential tier 3 minion. I think he is really strong right now because of the Ironhide Direhorn purchase from earlier. So I think that turn was definitely not to Rainy Days'
Your
liking.
minions
And
will
then I think
soon their
Rainy Days did not roll so that his board count will not reduce, and then he's gonna secure Ironhide for first attack, which is I think a very good strategy since he needs to first attack with Ironhide. And then in this stage of the game, Ironhide defeats most of the minions being played by his opponents.
Surprising for Galakron here, making a really, really greedy uh early tier 4. He was able
Hmm.
to hero power into Mecano Egg, and
I'm
I'm
thinking of
surprised that
getting
Rainy
the
Days
egg.
hasn't taken the Mecano Egg.
Oh, okay. Oh wait, prioritize
He
buffing his
prioritized
pyro.
buffing the existing piracy he has on board.
Is it a good play?
I think he was confident that since Mayev hasn't discovered the tier 5 yet, that he might be able to easily beat his board with the Ironhide Direhorn that he already has. Okay, the Mayev taking a lot of damage here since the Direhorn survived. Ren's taking 11 damage going down to 25.
your minions really
Ooh.
pulled their weight.
Then surprisingly, Mr. Bigglesworth on the third place right now, mitigating the damage of his opponents. And this is somewhat scary for everyone.
I think Mr. Bigglesworth was also very lucky to face the Mayev who hasn't power scaled yet, and then immediately facing Ragnar's Firelord, which upon checking Ragnaros's hero power count as of the moment, he still needs 3 more minions in order to activate the Sulfuras.
I think Rainy Days is thinking here to get the Salty Looter. Oh, he. rolls.
The roles are definitely not going according Rainy's favor right now. But that is a
Oh,
really, really good hero power right there. This
hero
gives him
power
this
is
gives
forming
him
to run.
a yes. This gives him really good direction for his current board. Definitely very easy to transition into Menagerie
You're
from
doing
here.
great out there.
But he's facing against PinkPaw, and we know that Millhouse's boards tend to get really overpowered really, really early. And it can get really scary as we can see the Dire Horde unable to kill the lowly Micro Machine.
Oh, Alacron taking so much
RainyDaze
damage.
getting punished. 29 HP down to 14. Nagpas kalahati ng buhay
Really
niya.
raging out there.
Bad.
Right. I think this is a good round for RainyDaze. Being faced against Mr. Bigglesworth. Mr. Bigglesworth having no discovers as of yet as well.
Is
But
he thinking
definitely
to clear up?
You're down a
Discover
minion
6?
and up a goal. You're down a minion and up a goal.
okay. Uh RainyDaze possibly thinking if he wants to discover a 6.
Ooh. Ah,
He opts to discover a 5 instead. And he takes a Bagurgle of all things.
so taking Bagurgle is saying that he is up for um having Murloc comp right now.
A good tactical choice.
Very interesting place for Rainy. Like
You're doing great out there.
okay, what can you say about RainyDaze's board, MACnavy?
Um well, first of all, King Bagurgle in the middle is not good, I guess. But I can understand Rainy Days because he got loss of time there. But well, I think he's going for Menagerie. Um, looking at this board, and luckily he won against Bigglesworth, so he wasn't punished by that.
Your minions
And
lose
Ragnaros
their
being
way.
eliminated by Millhouse Manastorm
Ooh.
without ever getting his hero power up, sadly.
Then now he's
I
thinking
think
again.
narinig tayo kanina ni Rainy Days na
Rainy Days.
sana merong mag Murlocs. And
Murlocs.
he's
Ayun.
definitely fulfilling that that wish of ours. Kung pagpipilitan niya talaga ang Murlocs dito sa round na to.
Then I can imagine Ice Stick being happy with this.
Looks like Rainy fully committing to Murlocs. Selling most of his board to get all of the Murlocs in the shop.
With, uh, Free Weatherlight, is it too late to go Murlocs now? Or is it just the right time?
I think it was really really risky for Rainidaze transitioning into Murlocs this late. Uh, Especially noting that he's already down to 14
I
HP.
think you can win this
He
thing.
probably needs another turn or two to be able to scale enough to be really comfortable.
Oh,
But
and then
judging by Rance's board here, I think this would be a really fair fight. Some really bad attacks for Rance. And he is going to survive with 1 HP against RainyDaze's Murlocs.
You're good at this.
But being a Murloc player, you would be really sad seeing
Yes.
another player
Other
taking
player with
the precious Murlocs from the shop, diba?
and with Bran. And with Bran.
Yeah, that is the deciding factor. I think I didn't see a brand from Ren's board,
And
while Rainy Days has that very coveted honorary Murloc. Diba? Kapag titignan mo si Bran, pwede mo sabihin, mukha siyang Murloc.
My shield for honor.
It's actually looking really good for
Rainy Days.
Rainy at the moment. And he finds another Bran.
And
The
then those
question is
Bran,
he going to take it? Which might be a little too greedy since he's only tier 4. He cannot roll for another Bran.
can just keep the Bran.
It's
Keep
pretty
up the momentum,
dangerous since
friend.
he's facing against Mapos Grafam. He needs to snipe one of the Mao Bears here, which he doesn't. And this is looking really,
Oh,
really
there.
scary
Oh,
for
no.
Rainy. And that was the attack that
Oh,
he
my.
wanted.
This is too much damage. It's gonna die, I guess.
Rainy could only emote, losing that 50-50 odds, being eliminated by Mapo. So we are now going to spectate PinkPaw.
PinkPaw is playing
Millhouse, Manasar.
Hill House.
Go big or go home, I always say.
Hill House having a
Pink,
very strong board.
sorry, PinkPaw is still loading on my screen.
Okay. Ooh,
PinkPaw getting 2 light fangs.
fangs.
Let's see if you can stay on top.
And then Beaglesworth. The most scary part
Oh
is
yes, I just realized. Yes, I just realized that Bigglesworth is still alive. Ano ang nangyayari? I think everybody just tried really hard to high roll the lobby, and Bagels were just it's just it's well I cannot fathom how Bigglesworth is still surviving considering the overall strength of this lobby.
We all
But
have bumps now and then.
JCtepi taking 25 damage from Rafam.
Rafam is much scarier.
This is one hell of a roller coaster ride
Head to buy one
for
of these recruits.
for a BG match, diba? We actually haven't seen what Bigglesworth discovered from the 4 corpses that he has rummaged through. Ikaw ba, Bakti, ano sa tingin mo mga nakuha ni Mr. Bigglesworth from sa mga bangkay ng mga ibang kalahok natin?
I think Bigglesworth prioritize triples, golden minions, since he's playing somewhat max right now. So I don't think he got any good minions from some of them, except siguro kay ano no, kay RainyDaze having one
Having
two
Bran and
brands. Yeah.
some considerably big Murlocs. Pero Mr. Bigglesworth having 4 beasts, ano kaya to?
Ooh,
Ooh,
Aaron Rivendale. Golden.
pero mukhang kulang. Pero surprising rin for PinkPaw. He opted to go greedy tier on that turn, di ba? Nakita niya siguro na Mapo dealing 25 damage to Mr. Bigglesworth na mahina to. Makakapitalize ko ito opportunity na to na mag-tier para makahanap ako ng more relevant minions on the eventuality that I will face Mapo in the heads up.
And then I
Which looks
guess
like it's going to pay off for PinkPaw because he wins
PinkPaw
against JCtepi's Death Rattle build.
not only wins but he also eliminated JCtepi here in the lobby.
Your minions really
And immediately being rewarded with an Amalgadon, a Noyo module, and a lot of other toys.
Oh my.
Balik kapag sinasabi ni Bob na manalo ka na, eto na yun. Pero really, really painful to be letting go of the Lightfang Enforcers here. Parang nakita mo si Mapo is still pretty much unscathed with 36 HP. So this might still drag on for maybe 2 or 3 more rounds. And letting go of the Light Fangs here without even tripling them is sort of sad. Amalgadon
Oh,
getting Divine Shield but missing on the poison.
there's the
Which is
poison.
easily mitigated by the Primorphin Lookout. So swerte pa rin kahit papano si PinkPaw. Siguro ang pinagdadasalan nila ng PinkPaw dito is another Amalgadon. These guys facing off on a regular basis. This isn't too far off from the usual sweaty place na pinagdadaanan ng dalawa.
up a gold.
Diba? So this is just classic PinkPaw against Mapo. PinkPaw looking like the immediately favored person in this round. Pero may magnet talaga yung Rat Pack. Which
Classic,
might mitigate a lot of the damage.
classic beast comp.
I could already imagine Mapo saying Skamaz. Diba? But
Well,
yeah,
PinkPaw
still
will gonna
losing
win
to
this
PinkPaw. Still losing to PinkPaw. Mapo has yet to find the corresponding combo pieces of Maka and Baron. Pero malay
Then
natin,
Mapo,
di natin nakikita yung hawak ni Mapo. Maybe they're already in Mapo's hand.
Then Mapo should hit Gold Grabber with the poison, because if Gold Grabber survives, when there's no poison at Mapo's board, he will wreck all minions.
You down a minion and up a gold.
Some really decent rolls for PinkPaw here. Just pushing his advantage, kumbaga. Getting more buffs, getting more tech cards.
He's looking now for no,
Probably
looking now
considering
for
the
some,
Menace and the Baron Riven there.
or would you give the menace to the Reaper?
Definitely the full Reaper because
Full
the
Reaper.
Amalgadon already has poison. the additional damage wouldn't be helping much in the scheme of things.
Let's see if you can stay on top.
So let's see if Mapo has improved this board, which is still almost the same.
Apo unable to find a gold ring and a Macau.
Pero Mapo being very, very consistent here. Mapo finished top 4 in the last round. Again, the Rat Pack may magnet talaga. Ibang klase. Ibang klase yung magnet ng Rat Pack. Amazing.
Oh, and I just noticed he tripled Mama Bear.
But PinkPaw again stealing the round. Sabi natin, tinakaw niya talaga yung round na yun. Nananakawan sila sa isa't isa. Pero going back to what I was saying kanina, Mapo being consistent so far, having another top 4 finish. Kanina si PinkPaw, he was already taken out of top 4 contention, finishing 5th if I'm not mistaken using Queen Wagtagel.
Mhm.
Also very interesting to note the top 2 heroes, Galakron and Queen Wagtagel, again finishing outside of the top 4. Biruin mo, yung pusa pa yung nasa top 3. So anong meron, MACnavy?
I think Bigglesworth getting super lucky on his rolls. That's the only thing that I um can say about him. Then well, considering Mapo and Pinkpo, they are one of the best Hearthstone players here
You can stay
in our
on
private
top.
lobbies.
Not only in our private lobbies, but in the entire world na rin, diba? Mapo is another fellow leaderboards player.
Oh, this is interesting play from Mapo getting goal to counter the divine shield of Pinkpo, but
Sadly, nakahandang-handa si Pinkpo para doon with the Baron and Selfless.
nonetheless.
This is going to be a close one. And Bapo stealing that one. Apparently, the match is still very close. And then the move from Pinkpo. Ano yun? Parang yung sabi ni Pinkpo. Ano yun? Saan ako doon?
I think the deciding the hell 3 goals in Bob's Tavern.
that was a surprising that was a surprising offer from Bob's Tavern. Natawa rin ako doon. The board of Pinkpo having hardly any progress because of being so stocked up with all of the valuable minions. He chooses to still move on this round, diba? Losing the Baron and immediately getting the Baron again. Speechless. I'm
super
just
high roll
speechless.
play.
Ang swerte. Ang swerte ni Pinkpo. Let's see if Mapo can steal another round from Pinkpo. Nako, again, Mapo with the tech. But I think Mapo had a
Mapo-
slight misplay there by forgetting about the Four Reaper swipe. And that will cost him probably the round. Hindi pa! Mapo is still down to 1 HP.
Down to 1. This is intense.
Actually, mapag-usapan na rin natin, MACnavy. Very interesting itong meta na to kasi hindi umaabot ng ganito katagal ang mga matches on the previous meta.
Yeah, as I said earlier sa introduction, I'm against Renz. I was against Renz, and then it was eight showdowns before a winner was decided. This patch gives us intense games.
Pero grabe nga, in the previous meta, isang pukpukan lang, swerte pa kayo, dalawang pukpukan kapag top 2 contention na. Ito nakakailang rounds na tayo, balikan lang sila. 7 damage, 6 damage. Nung Sabado nga, apparently, yung isang lobby doon umabot ng 18 rounds. And if I'm not mistaken, silang dalawa rin yung nagtuos doon, si PinkPaw and si Mapo rin. So parang rerun lang to ng pagtutuos nila from the last tournament.
This is already playing this is already playing mind games with each other.
Pero Mapo having the initiative in that round. Diba? And another misplay for Mapo! Oh no, Mapo! I'm pretty sure si Mapo is scratching his head now. Oo nga pala. Because
Yeah,
how that rattles work in BG is the one in the left always triggers first.
That's how it.
Oh no, Mapo, not like that. That was a really spicy game. Spicy like a McGravy, diba? McNavy?
indeed, Weatherlight, and we saw very intense game, but in the end, Mapo whiffed that out.
Grabe emotion ko doon sa game na yun. Kala ko na, eto na. Parang may pagbabago na. Ay, hindi! Kasalanan pa rin ni Mapo!
Mapo will be featured
Oh
at all then.
no! Mapo, not like that! Mapo, why?
Well,
Well,
uh,
we still have two rounds
or
of the Hearthstone PH Showdown to go, 'di ba? So, may pag-asa pa for Mapo to redeem himself.
then before we head for a break, let's recall first. Let's have a summary first. Scores, how the match ended. Getting first place, we have PinkPaw with this Millhouse. Mapo with Rafam, second place. Third place is JCtepi, surprisingly, using Mr. Bigglesworth. Fourth place is Renz using Mayev. Fifth place, RainyDaze, and surprisingly also using Galacro, the high tier hero, going bottom four. Sixth place is WiffWaff with his Toki. Seventh place is Queen Wog Toggle, also a surprise. Um, Queen Wog Toggle used by Pageway, and eighth place Philip with his Ragnaros. And, hmm, and then the current um placement for after round two, just the top four. The first place Mapo with 12 points. Second place is tied with Pinkpo and JCtepi, tied with second and third place, and then fourth place RainyDaze with 10 points. So We will have a break. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back guys to the round 3 batch of our Hearthstone Battlegrounds Showdown. The winner of our previous match was si PinkPaw with a nail biter of a match against Mapo. Diba? Actually, sabi daw ni WiffWaff, kung siya daw yun, kinitli niya na kagad si PinkPaw isang round pa lang. Pero apparently wala, na eliminate kagad si WiffWaff sa round na yan, kaya hindi niya naipakita yung lakas niya. Pero moving forward, we will be watching naman PinkPaw this time around since he won the previous lobby.
Mhm.
We're just waiting for them to ready up so we can spectate round 3. Leading na right now pala sa scoreboard natin is si Mapo and JCtepi. So nagkakatotoo nga sasabi ni MACnavy na possibly si JCtepi ang actually, sorry. Si ano pala, si Renz pala siya sabi niya, dark horse. Pero apparently, JCtepi is proving MACnavy wrong. Siya daw ang totoong dark horse sa tournament na to. Okay,
So,
so
next time
we
close
are
na.
going to start spectating PinkPaw now.
Continue to
PinkPaw is
spectate.
just
I hope
PinkPaw is tied pala with JCtepi at second and third place, with Mapo having the lone first place position right now at 12 points. So hindi nagkakalayo ang mga points.
uh,
Okay, time naman daw ni PinkPaw ngayon to play Rafam.
Fam. Did not see
Ikaw, anong tingin
the
mo kay
hero
Rafam
choices
ngayon,
of
MACnavy?
Rafam is somewhat mediocre right now. Because well, before we use Rafam to rush tier 4 and then discover 5, but now if you do that, you're gonna take a bunch of damage from new heroes we have, new newly
Have a
buffed
good day,
heroes
friend.
we had.
Actually, rin napansin ko kay Rafam, he's very inconsistent right now. Kasi depending
Uh,
on the lobby, what you get is also being determined by the position of your opponents. Kapag ayaw ka nila bigyan ng maganda, bibigyan ka nila ng pangit na minion talaga. Tapos apart from that is the meta is less high roll
I've got some
now.
fresh
So
recruits for
it's
you.
hard for you to get those juicy higher tier minions from your opponents.
mhm. And then
Siguro confounded by by Queen Wag Tagel, 'di ba? Kapag makalawan si Queen Wag Tagel, expect mo na eto sa'yo basura.
then the worst is you don't get anything from Wagtagal because of the buffs.
Oo, paano kapag wala ka pa napatay, 'di
So
ba?
I think
wala ka
you
pang
can
napatay.
win this thing.
Pero sige, MACnavy, let's have a roll call of the heroes our
Okay.
contestants are using.
Okay. So Philip is using right now Lich King. Renz is as Sindagrosa. WiffWaff as Elise. Pageway as Maleficent Manastorm.
Nice work out there.
PinkPaw
Keep
as
up the good
Rafam. JCtepi as Isera. Mapo as Galakron. And RainyDaze as Mayev.
Just to note lang
So,
rin, walang Wag Tagel sa lobby na to ngayon.
lang Wagtagal. But we can see still high tier heroes here.
Yeah, the Mayev, Rafam, Galakron, Elise, Lich King, they're all here. And I guess siguro fulfilling
Keep
the
up the
sort
momentum,
of
friend.
uh, role that Queen Wagtagal has been doing for the past few rounds is possibly baka si Sindragosa.
What can you say
Sindragosa
about
is a mm,
what can you say about Sinagosa?
it's a very interesting hero. It's not very intuitive on how to use Sindragosa kasi you always have to think when are you going to pull the trigger to buy out the
Nice
shop.
work out there.
Diba?
Keep up the
Pero
pressure.
once you do, you're going to hit a very big power spike. Pero definitely, I think it's very much short-lived yung buff kay Sindergosa ever since they buffed Queen Wagtoggle. The buff to Sindergosa has been much more tame in comparison. Di siya kasing exciting as what Queen Wagtoggle is doing right now. But still, Sindergosa still provides a lot of very surprising power spikes. Magugulat ka na lang, uy, ang lalaki ng minions bigla. It's always what you have to think about when you are facing against Sindergosa.
It's somewhat sad for Sindagosa since yung binabuff mo tier 1 minions usually. So even though your minions were buffed, the damage that the opponent takes is still less, and then they have the chance to scale more.
Okay,
Yun lang yung
watching PinkPaw's board, he's actually developing really good with some really decent pairs to be able to hopefully
Give
high
those
roll
a
into
lick.
something really relevant.
And then this is the problem here with Rafam right now. Usually we go to tier up here and then hero power, right? In this turn 5. But right now, well, Pink po tier up and then hero power, but well, this is the time that everyone is scaling because of the patch. So Rafam right now is having a hard time in this mid game strategy.
This is actually a very scary turn to face Galakron because Galakron might have already discovered a very scary tier 5 or tier 6 minion, di ba? Buti na
Gala
lang, Gisera ang kalaban niya.
Your doing
Which
great.
surprisingly, the Ysera stayed at 2. So baka PinkPaw's gonna get a beating here. And
And
that's
then
a really,
surprisingly,
really sad
Isera.
Ysera with no dragons. Apart from the dragons small lieutenant. Diba nga? Ang sad.
Well, it's winning.
As expected, since the Ysera stayed at 2, diba? Which is surprising. I wonder what his tavern was that incentivized him to not tier with respect to the other players in the lobby. But here's a really, really awkward turn for Rafam. This is what I hate about Rafam right now. Having hardly any control on the minions that you get. So interesting turn for PinkPaw being offered this triple, but in a weird
That's
predicament
great
of
play.
discovering
I can't wait to
just a
see
tier 4
this.
minion.
He can go for egg, or he can go for Hydra, and then tear up next turn and stay on 4, so that he would off the Hydra with
I
the
think
beast
the
power.
Hydra is a very, very poor tempo play right here. But surprisingly again, PinkPaw taking the Hydra, possibly hoping for a high roll of some sort, possibly maybe getting that coveted Light Fang.
I think you can
Ooh,
win
Oh
this thing.
no! Oh no!
Pinkpo
Not
wasted
like
one
that,
gold.
PinkPaw!
Did
Not
not use
like
his
that,
hero power.
PinkPaw! Oh no!
Did not finish his board, preparing his board there.
And that could have been the triple he was looking for as well.
This is
Oh no,
also scary for believing.
I'm pretty sure Pink Boy is scratching his head right now.
This was also a scary
That
turn
was a disastrous turn
from
for
Felix.
Pink Boy.
The battle is really raging out there.
Oh my. He took time thinking of what he will get, discovering tier 4 minions. Sure, he can buy Hermit Sensei and buff the Eve Hydra, but
He has to let go of either his water droplet pair or some of
Dragon
his a little bit more decent
Good
minions.
tactical choice.
But yeah, he should be discovering a tier 5 right now. But instead, he's forced to make do with this really, really sad turn of events.
this is a disadvantage of playing Rafam right now. Because if you can hit
I think you can win this thing.
people's early, you will be having a hard time. Or even though it's early, you cannot rush to tier 4 and then discover 5, because of the damage you will be taken from your opponents because of this fast scaling meta right now.
And Pinkpo facing again another really powerful hero in the form of Lich King. Definitely, unsurprisingly losing, taking another 9 damage here. This isn't looking good for Pinkpo, but he is rewarded with a triple molten rock, possibly contemplating now if he wants to discover a tier 6, which might be really dangerous considering how weak he is in relation to the lobby.
And also, he's facing Elise with a
No,
bunch
no,
of
knowing WiffWaff, he's out for blood. He definitely wants to kill Pinkpo right here, right now.
as he's as I remembered, as he said in the um group chat, WiffWaff only plays just to beat PinkPaw. That's all.
But a really good role for PinkPaw here, being offered the Light Fang, which she will definitely get. That's a no-brainer pick right there. Rewarded, rewarded,
Better hide away
rewarded for
from
that
them while you
discovery.
can.
PinkPaw might not be willing to bite the dust just yet,
I'll save these ones for
and
later.
being offered another as elemental.
Needs to survive this turn.
He definitely wants to survive this turn. I
Maybe you
think
can win this
Pink
thing.
Paul would be in a good position to just win the lobby outright if he gets to discover another relevant minion from a higher tier.
But WiffWaff's board is also formidable. Too much Divine Shield.
It's getting really dangerous for Pink Paw right now. And oh no, I think that's it. That's it for Pink Paw.
That's it for PinkPaw.
Oh no,
Oh,
Pink Paw being the lone person at eighth place.
first
That's gonna really hurt his
There are
chances.
8 players, but only one.
who's who will we gonna spectate?
I think we go spectate. Uh, we can go spectate Paige Way. We haven't seen her gameplay as of late. So
So we're gonna spec Reds according to endless instruction.
okay, sorry. Apparently, according to Enly, we will be spectating Rens.
Reds also have a reasonable board for being Sindagosa. But Alice,
Unsurprisingly, Sindergosa hasn't really lost much of his matches, diba? So
he just took damage from both
from
homunculus
the
there.
both homunculus, correct? Diba? Pero yun nga, the two people who haven't lost a single round are going to face this match in this round, and we'll see who will come out the better. And that's a really good snipe for Renz, taking out one of the macaws, preventing another death rattle trigger from the spawn of the Zoth. And also surviving the attack from the Bolver, who hasn't received any buffs yet. But yes, it might not be enough to beat the death rattle power of Lich King. Ren's taking 10 damage, but still relatively healthy and having a really solid board.
This is also the time Sindagosa's scale will get low because he's not freezing much minions now. Or he's freezing minions, but it has a only 2-1 buff.
I'm pretty sure Ren's is willing to pay 2 more HP to play a Golden Homunculus in order to discover something like maybe a Calicgos to tie them to the late game.
Well, Ren's also doing a good job, not taking too much damage and reaching tier 5 here.
I guess he has to give up that pair of his, opting to just progress his board as it is right now. He's facing against WiffWaff with a possibly really scary board as well.
Nothing scares me.
WiffWaff
It's
eliminating
peace.
Rafam of all the heroes. Like Rafam is one of the heroes that you would at least expect not to finish at the bottom four. As the previous round, nobody got eliminated. So it just goes to show how behind PinkPaw's lineup was in relation to the lobby.
Avenge me.
Getting Rafam getting unlucky with the rolls and also with high scaling heroes.
Some very, very lucky attacks for Renz here. And the egg apparently has a magnet of his own. And the
Ooh.
Baron having some sort of invisibility shield. And Renz winning with just 1 HP on his Draconid Enforcer, dealing 9 damage to WiffWaff. WiffWaff going down to 8 HP as we see JCtepi getting eliminated from the previous round.
Wait. I like where you're going with this.
JCtepi is somewhat unlucky with his Isera rolls. As we saw when he faced PinkPaw, he has only one dragon.
It seems that Renz is opting for a very safe top 4 build as of the moment. Divine Shield. It's the very niche mid game strategy of Divine Shield, Bolvar, Draconid Enforcer, and Selfless Hero composition. But this might not be enough for him to be able to catch up in respect to the other people who already has 10, 11, and 12 points.
That's what I
As Renz is now only sitting at 5 points. He definitely needs to high roll better than this.
This last act of sacrifice is mine.
What is the logic of Ren's using this board from Hub? Is
I
he
think
for Razor Gore and then
I think he is
with
valuing
dragons?
the Razor Gore in this shop. But he's
Isn't it
facing
too
against
late?
Mapo, and
Yeah.
Mapo dealt 30 damage to the undamaged Lich King the previous round. And we can see why as Mapo is already uh building towards, how would you call it? Uh Death
Beast,
Rattle Beasts.
Rattle Beast, and it is the same comp from his from
Yeah,
the
sure,
last
from his
round.
previous round.
But the difference is he has already got
He
the
also
gold
has
ring.
got the Gold Ring and the Maca.
Oh,
Mapo only dealing 10 damage to Renz. I guess that I think Renz is happy, at least happy that he only takes 10
Doesn't
damage from
explode
Mapo,
makes you stronger.
considering that the Lich King took a
and
whopping
sadly, we
30
can see
damage.
again. We can see again WiffWaff going down this lobby on sixth place with this Elise.
WiffWaff also sitting at 8 points right now. I'm pretty sure he's not happy about getting sixth place. Mapo again
Oh,
being consistent, gearing up for another top 4 finish. JCtepi already being eliminated means Mapo can widen the gap in relation to his competitors. Pero hindi natin alam. Malay
with
mo,
the
Mapo might get eliminated this round. We don't know.
um, this is a questionable play from Renz. Going tier 6, freeze the board, and facing Lich King.
How I
Lich
see it is maybe isip siguro ni Renza, uy, si Mapo dealt 30 damage dito sa guy na to. Ako 10 damage lang. Ibig sabihin, mas malakas ako sa kanya. Di ba?
mm,
Possible.
possible. But Lich King also dealt 10 damage to WiffWaff, which resulted to WiffWaff being eliminated.
As we can see, the Lich King's board
Avenge
is
me.
still very weak. But this might be really close depending on the Divine Shield triggers from the Deflectobots. If ever it comes to a point wherein they get a lot of refreshes, we might see Rens dying this round. Looks like Rens is taking a huge hit now. Is this enough for lethal?
4, 5, 6,
And
7,
no, Rens
14. Oh,
survives with 2
down to 2.
HP.
Down to 2.
Welcome back.
Still live.
How's it going out there?
And surprisingly, RainyDaze tying with Mapo in the previous round.
Go ahead and hire one of these recruits.
Page
They
Ray
also
also hanging on by a thread, 6
That's
HP.
quite the army
If
you've
they
built.
don't draw this round, one of them is most probably dead. Ah, that is one wet dream of a shop. But sadly,
oh,
it's probably too
it's
late
too late.
for Light Fang Enforcers.
And then this is also sad for both of them because they are in the same region
That's what I would have picked.
fighting with each other.
Talaga, matira matibay. It
Tira
doesn't matter
matibay.
what region you're in here now. We are talking about
This is already
the best of the showdown, diba?
a former
Very
duos.
surprising for Reds to throw the Volvar. What is Reds thinking of in this round?
I think he's thinking letting Razor Gore scale to bank up any dragons in on the board, but I don't
I
think
think
he's
it's definitely too late. It's too late for that.
late for that because he's gonna
Oh no! Talking about Golden Annihilants, Fish with a golden Annihilant of her own. I don't think Renz has any way to be able to kill that Annihilant. Will this be another showing of an Annihilant winning the lobby, same as the previous round?
pages also also have too many refreshes for the um Lectobot.
Okay, so Pageway eliminating Renz.
Eliminating her former teammate.
Sadly for Renz, he wasn't able to hold on to a top
Oh,
4
and
finish.
also Lich King
Considering Lich
drop.
King and Cindergosa were the two unscathed heroes at around turn 7, turn 8, if I'm not mistaken. So we are switching over to Mapo now. Pero 'di ba? Kahit puno ang buhay mo, kapag na-trentahan ka ni Mapo, patay ka. And Mapo facing the Ghost of Friends, very lucky for Mapo. Pero I think I could confidently say very lucky for the two other remaining people in this lobby that they don't face Mapo and immediately be granted a death sentence, kumbaga. Interesting to note then that Mapo locked out with the Amalgadon not having any death rattle plans tacked onto it.
It's that's the perfect Magadon.
Yes, for this comp it is.
Light shield and then poison.
Everyone's gunning for
I think
it.
Mapo is
Watch out.
desperately trying to look for the Baron to complement his final lineup. easy win against the Ghost. Ikaw, MACnavy, sino sa tingin mo mananalo against Rainy and Page? We
I think
haven't
it's
seen RainyDaze's board.
I think it's Rainy. Rainy will win. It's because that he tied against Mapo for the round that Renz and Philip was eliminated.
And tama ka nga. Rainy killing off Pageway with just a minimal 11 damage. So possibly very close.
Go ahead and hire one
Mapo
of these
considering to
recruits.
just buff his existing minions. Parang sumuko na siya sa Baron Lottery.
Is he gonna give up the? Oh,
But
he
that's
gave.
very interesting for Mapo giving up the Baka.
But unfortunately, Golden is being buffed. No.
Maybe Mapo knows something that we don't. We never really got to see Rainy Days' composition. Pero let's just see. Possibly Rainy Days has some sort of composition that entails these plays from Mapo. Mapo still deciding whether he's going to take a Tavern Tempest or take something from these shop minions to counteract Rainy Days' board. Getting Void Lord possibly indicating a very, very high number of Divine Shields from Rainy Days' board.
Indeed.
Let's
Let's
see if
see.
you can stay on top.
Wow, Randy's board is actually pretty insane. Having a golden micro machine that is almost 100 in stats.
Ooh, that's why he gave
Ooh.
up on the Macaw because he knows that even Macaw procs death rattle of the Goldrin. He cannot scale. He still cannot scale the attack.
Now, MACnavy, we know what happened to that Annihilum Battle Master of Pageway.
Go ahead and hire one of
Kulang
these
sa
recruits.
kulang. Kahit triplehin mo pa, isa pang beses, kulang laban sa Micro Machine ni Rainy Days.
Go ahead and hire one of these recruits.
I think Mapu needs to find selfless heroes now, then bank for poisons.
I think this is pretty grim for Mapo. This isn't the comp that you want to be building against that really, really massive board from Rainy Days. I'm actually curious how Rainy Days was able to grow that Micro Machine to that enormous
Go ahead
proportions.
and hire one of these recruits.
It's crazy. I haven't seen a Micro Machine that
Down
big.
here. Here's a goal
Maybe he
for the
was
trophy.
given ban and then buff and buff,
Scares me. Except mice. Except mice.
tanking so much buffs.
The last Hail Mary for Mapo is flanking two selfless heroes, hoping that they all go to the MACnavy and clear the board of Rainy.
Avenge.
170, 100 to 77 health. My God.
But I think we now understand how it was possible for Rainy to create such a big micro machine. As you can see, Rainy brought over the best friend of the micro machine, which was a golden Iron Sensei.
Uh,
And the
Rain-
micro machine was the only other mech that the Iron Sensei was feeding into.
RainyDaze taking the lobby.
Pero that was still a very close final heads up.
And
Those two
then
selfless heroes was able to tilt it slightly to Mapo's favor, but yet it still wasn't enough to clear Rainy's board.
this is
Uh,
the game that we expect from a Galacron getting top 4 in the lobby.
just to update everybody with the score then. It's actually a very, very close match now. Rainy Days finally catching up to Mapo, both at 17 points. With JCtepi closely follow, well, not really closely, but in a distant third place at 12 points. And PinkPaw having 10 points. WiffWaff at 8 points. Same with Renz with 8 points, and Philip and Pageway both having 6 points as well.
Mhm.
So we
So
are going to take a break now. We'll be taking a break for a few minutes, and when we return, we'll be having the final round and the
round,
conclusion to this showdown. So far so good, diba, MACnavy? Very, very exciting.
very exciting games,
Ah.
and we will be having another exciting game on them. So we'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back everyone to the final round of the BG Showdown. First of all pala, thanks to our sponsors, AKG Games. They're giving away two standard Dark Moon Fairy, two fairy sorry.
Dark
Two
Moon
Dark
Fair.
Moon Fairy, two so yeah, two Dark Moon Fair standard bundles to the
Bundle.
top two finishers of this tournament.
Then the
Sorry,
Dark
di
Moon
kasi standard player kaya hindi ko alam kung ano yung bagong
uh,
set eh.
and then the Dark Moon Fair consists of 45 packs with one random legendary and also one hero skin. Sino ba nga yun? Warlock. It's Warlock hero skin and it's Nazot. Nazot ba? Tama ba? And then also, you can have an early access also to the new game mode, the duels. Ano
Okay,
magsabi,
so
Weather?
magpapa-raffle pala kami ngayon ng Jaina bundle, if I'm not mistaken. You just have to type hashtag we love Weather Navy. Ako, mas gusto ko yung hashtag is Ellie Pogi kasi he's the one who is behind the scenes guiding us throughout this whole experience of casting this show for you guys.
Boss Enly Pogi.
Ellie Pogi.
So,
May
well,
additional raffle para sa magta-type ng hashtag Ellie Pogi, guys. Ang mananalo dyan is ang mapapanalunan nyo dyan, if ever you win, is ang undying na pagmamahal ni Ellie. And bonus na rin since Rainy Days has enough love to give around. Mamahalin din kayo ni Rainy Days. So type Ellie Pogi.
by the way, before I forget, I just wanna share to all the viewers. Maybe nagtataka kayo for some reason kung bakit walang Akazam Rock sa lobby. It's because
Maybe
the
if I can interrupt you, your mic is nagkakaroon ng nagkakaroon
hello.
problems sa mic mo. Yes, okay na.
Okay na. So I just want to inform the viewers that maybe nagtataka kayo kung bakit walang Akazam Rock or and Sir Finley sa lobby. And it's because that from the last update, I think Blizzard remove those two heroes for now. It's because of the issue that Akazam Zerak has a bug that keeps abusing the secret ice block. So and also Sir Finley was out of the pool. It's because he can get also the hero power of Kazam Zerak. So FYI lang, kami nagtataka dyan eh.
Okay, we're just waiting for our contestants setting up for the final round. Aba? We will be watching, I guess, si JCtepi right now. Because
So what
JCtepi
Epi?
is the only one who could tilt the balance of this tournament the other way around into his favor. If ever, Rainy Days and Mapo get unfortunate and possibly end up in the bottom two slots, and JCtepi winning the lobby, he might be able to steal one of the coveted top two placements from the leading scorers as of the moment.
Mhm.
Sa tingin mo, MACnavy, what are JCtepi's chances of doing that upset?
Well, all of the players here can have a chance to go first, but JCtepi having a chance to go first is I think he has a 50-50 chance. Maybe Mapo will go memes and then and then lose the lobby. I remember I remembered last Saturday when he went pirates for the memes and then got a place.
Message mo na si Mapo, MACnavy, tell him we want memes.
He want memes.
Diba? Let's give JCtepi a little push. Diba? Konting tulong kay JCtepi. Diba? Pero ang mga memes ni Mapo, it's no laughing matter. Ang mga memes niya is really high rolly, pero if he's able to pull it off, diba? It's easy for him to take over the entire game.
Actually, his match between PinkPaw is already a meme. So we are waiting still for all the players to be ready.
I think they're ready queued na. We can go watch JCtepi.
Okay, we can watch JCtepi.
Hey, my favorite commander is back. Ready to get started?
Oh, really?
Need a drink?
Okay, so we are now watching JCtepi, MACnavy, pa-roll call naman ng mga heroes sa mga contestants natin.
Okay. For JCtepi, he's using Lich King right now. Then WiffWaff for George. Ayan na si WiffWaff. Ginamit niya na yung ex niya.
Don't take this. I'm rooting.
Pageway using Flurgle. Philip for Queen Wag Toggle. PinkPaw as Jandis Barrow. Friends for Captain Eudora. Apo as Elise. And RainyDaze as Tess Screaming. Kaya natatawa.
MACnavy, yung mic mo is breaking up again.
Sorry. Hello, hello? Hello? Yun na ba?
It's better. Pero it's medyo inconsistent. Pero sige, pagtitiisan
Ano
natin
na rin
ang sexy voice mo according to Twitch chat.
The hell?
Kailangan daw ganyan din ni MACnavy ang voice niya para mabawasan daw yung pag-aakit niya sa mga nanonood ngayon.
Huwag na, baka maakit si WiffWaff.
Matagal mo na naakit yun, sa totoo lang.
Oo nga eh, iniwan niya nga si George.
Sino ba si George sa buhay mo? WiffWaff. Pero tama na, puro tayo kalokohan dito. Let's talk about the game. Diba? JCtepi having a solid hero with Lich King. And in this lobby naman, wala naman Galakron. Diba? But the Queen Wag Toggle is back. And PinkPaw using Murlocs. Sorry, Jandis with the Murloc board as of the moment.
Then the most interesting your Pageway getting Fungal Mancer Flurgle. This is a
Nako,
hero.
may kilala akong magagalit dyan. Bawal daw yan. Bawal daw gamitin yung hero na yan.
Kailangan siya lang. Well, as you can see here, JCtepi having a solid board against Elise. And then, well, Elise has having a strong minions, but endured by JCtepi.
JCtepi being offered a really, really substandard shop here on turn 4. Kung ako ito, nag-tier na ako, nag-roll na lang ako, tapos pumikit na lang ako. But JCtepi opting to buy the two better tier 1 minions. Di ako matutuwa doon.
And I
Pero
think
sabi siguro ni JCtepi that I'm Lich King. I am not gonna be too punished by this. And at least I got a pair of Elementals in order for me to be able to discover a higher tier minion. Siguro yun na lang ang naisip niya.
then also having Micromami in his board uh will give +1 attack to any of his minions. Hindi lang sana tatama sa Elemental.
You're way ahead.
Which is hindi naman tumama. And in the best part, which is
The,
Yoho.
the Yoho Ogre. Malaking ano yun, malaking bagay yun. The 2 attack and the 3 attack is so it's has a very huge difference in the early game. That's also a reason why some minions like Molten Rock, which appears to be really powerful, diba? Because it scales infinitely with the number of elementals that you play. Is it actually that strong if you're not able to buff its power? Pero kita mo, yung
And
one
then,
power lang na na-add doon sa Yoho Ogre was able to cement cement that round in favor of the Lich King. If I
then
think
he
kapag
wasn't
hindi
punished.
napunta yung Micro Mommy doon sa Yoho Ogre, I think he would have lost that round.
Mhm. Then getting 2 minions there instead of tearing up last turn. He wasn't punished for that.
Okay, let's see if JCtepi could capitalize on his spares in the succeeding turns.
One's gunning for you.
I think what's missing from JCtepi's warband right now is definitely the much coveted spawn of Zot for Lich King. Yung pa kulang yun. It's definitely one of the bigger power spikes that he would be looking for in the early game. Not surprisingly, losing to the Queen Wag Toggle here, pero at least he's only taking 3 damage.
Then also Lich King
Engine out there.
already as a good spot getting having 2 pairs. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
It's a very
Happy ba?
underwhelming shop again for JCtepi here, but he's being offered the Deflectobot. In my opinion, getting the Deflectobot as early as possible is really key if you really wanna pursue playing mechs. Yes, he is very much pressed for space here, opting to just hold the shredder in hand.
I think the placement is somewhat wrong from JCtepi. It's because the Micromami is uh, too far from Flectobot.
But as we can see here on Renz's board, I think Renz has already high rolled this lobby, getting a very relevant minion in crowd favorite and pairing it with the discovery of Bronzebeard.
So Ren's gonna take damage from JCtepi, but he has already
Nice work out there.
direction compared to JCtepi here. And then JCtepi is not blessed with RNG, having some just mediocre minions being given by Bob.
JCtepi being offered the juggler here, which he's going to take. for those who don't appreciate Soul Juggler is one of the bigger power spikes that you can get if you have something of even of a
Didn't
half-assed
like that one either. How's it going
demon
for the
board
trouble?
such as this. It turns all of your demons into a potential machine gun of sorts. This is definitely a really really good pickup for JCtepi here, allowing him to maybe tide
Oh,
himself into the late game.
wait. I am being disconnected. I cannot spectate JC Tepi. Okay. Wait for a bit. Entertain mo muna sila Weatherlight. And restart my internet connection.
Papo having a really really powerful board as well. This
Any defeat that doesn't destroy you makes you stronger. Defensive systems online.
Oh, back.
I don't
Nawala
like
din
that one
siya.
either. Here's a
The,
gold
the service provider, the net provider issue. I changed my, change ako ng connection. So, here we can see JP Tepi's board is still not blessed
Nothing you
with
can do this thing.
stronger minions, but still his board is still durable against the attacks. Hmm. Hello? Hello?
Welcome back. How's it going out there?
Oh? Stream is stream issue. Si Weatherlight eh. So, game stream, walang sa, no caster. Ah, okay.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry we
You're
were
back.
having some sort of technical difficulties earlier. I was actually talking to myself for quite some time until Ellie told me that my mic wasn't working. Sorry. Apparently, Discord was having some sort of connection issues affecting me and McNavy. So we apologize for that. Pero
Sorry.
as I was saying, I think we've missed it, but a roll call lang rin on the heroes being used by our competitors. Philip using Queen
You're doing
Wagtoggle,
great out there.
Mapo using Elise Starseeker, Renz using Captain Eudora, RainyDaze using Tess Greymane, WiffWaff using George. Sino ba si George sa buhay mo? WiffWaff. PinkPaw using Jandice, JCtepi using the Lich King, and Pageway, but sadly already being eliminated, playing Fungal Monster Flurgel. So I guess sinumpa si Pageway na ating resident Murloc, na the one who should not be named.
Those minions really pulled their weight.
Pero very lucky for JCtepi there, losing 3 rounds in a row and going down to 14, getting a reprieve by being paired with the ghost of Pageway. Pero
Now
yun
he's
nga,
getting
medyo
favors
madugo
now.
na to. It's offering a tier 6 minion here for JCtepi.
It's a Malgadon. Or considering the genie. He went for
Nagpahiwatig
a
na siya
Malgadon.
kay Pinkpaw ng sad face, fearing of what's gonna come next. Pero eto nga, Amalgadon only triggering twice. And really, really sad adapt for the Amalgadon. This might not be enough considering that he is facing something as scary as a Jandis Barov.
He can freeze for the Primal Fin, which is he did. But
Maybe hoping for
he
the
must,
poison.
yeah, but he must survive this turn in order to get that Primal Fin. And then FYI lang guys, if JCtepi loses here now, he is not he won't be able to reach Mapo and RainyDaze in standings. And then if RainyDaze or Mapo did not go seventh this turn, they will JCtepi is also will have no chance to reach their final score.
As we can see, Pinkpaw having that Nomi, but it might be too late for Pinkpaw
Good at this.
being so low as to not being able to be as greedy to build on that Nomi.
And
But
then at the same
with
time,
with
WiffWaff,
getting eliminated at 7th place, I think this already cements Mapo and RainyDaze as being the first and second place finishers of this tournament. Nakulangan kumbaga si JCtepi.
JCtepi.
Maybe kung nakalaban niya si Mapo and si RainyDaze, baka napatay niya na mas maaga, pero sadly that's not going to be the case. So medyo fried chicken na lang ang paglalabanan dito, McNavy. Fried chicken that goes well with mac gravy. I guess JCtepi contemplating whether to get the Mechano egg or not, which he did.
Better hire a recruit while you can.
But why did he hero power the egg with the 0-5 stats instead of the Divine Shield? What's your take on this, Weatherlight?
The reasoning for that is, of course, if the egg dies without clearing up board space, it's going to the reborn ability would not trigger.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And really bad placement for JCtepi there. Not accounting for a cleave and being very much punished for it. I think no. Apparently Renz only deals 13 damage to JCtepi, putting him down to a precarious 1 HP situation. And
And
as we
then
said earlier, PinkPaw even getting that Nomi, it's a bit too late for him to actually capitalize.
JCtepi is lucky to face the ghost of PinkPaw in this round that secures him. It may secure him to top 4.
And judging by how Mapo is smacking the competition right now with 24 and 19 damage, di na malabo na another person might be joining PinkPaw, WiffWaff, and Pageway in the graveyard. That's one of the biggest temptations right now in Battlegrounds, diba? Getting offered a second light pang. Nakakatukso, diba? Benta ko ba yung Prisoner para mababa ko yung dalawang light pang? Most probably ang iniisip ni JCtepi ngayon. And he's running out of time. He has to commit. And he opts to keep the second light fang in hand instead, even facing against the ghost.
Keep up the momentum, friend.
I don't think keeping the second light fang in the hand is the appropriate play. It's because that in this stage of the game, keeping light fang is somewhat too late na.
I would have to agree with that. If ever I would have played the two light fangs, and if I really had to, I would have just sold the second one in order to free up board space.
Or
And
pwede
that
rin
was a wasted opportunity because I don't think PinkPaw would have any way to kill the decently sized Anihilan Battlemaster. In that round, we have two more casualties in the form of RainyDaze and Philip. But I think this is the last stand for JCtepi being paired against Mapo.
Ooh,
Amazingly,
he
JCtepi
can
being
do
offered
triple
the golden light fang,
light
but
fang.
it's probably 3 turns too late.
And up a gold.
And then a buff wasted from supposedly the second light fang would have buffed his minions last turn, but sadly uh he wasn't able to put it on board.
Oh no, this just in from Mapo being disconnected. Mapo cannot reconnect to his client right now.
That's
What a
the meme
crazy turn of events for Mapo. And here
for the memes.
JCtepi, not knowing Mapo has already left the building.
Nothing scares me. Except mice.
But yes, this is now irrelevant to the standings of the tournament, as we already knew beforehand that Mapo and Rainy not finishing at the bottom two would already secure them getting the standard bundles.
Avenge me.
Pero bale, fried chicken that goes with McGravy na lang nga ang pinaglalabanan dito. And surprisingly, JCtepi winning against Mapo's Ghost. Hindi niya alam. Multo na ang kalaban niya. So eto na ang pagtutuos, ang huling labanan.
JCtepi and Renz. as I remembered, JCtepi is matched up against Renz for twice na.
Go ahead and hire one of
And
these
then
recruits.
Renz is winning those bouts. But let's see here. Let's see here if Renz will be able to uh, protect his winning streak from JCtepi, or will be JCtepi can come back here beating Renz and having a top 1 spot in this lobby.
Reading the chat, reading the Twitch chat, I can see some heated reactions from Karakute. Throw na daw sana yung 1 to kanina and magnetize to egg. Sana di nakinip sa hand yung Tron. Very, very violent responses from our resident killer, Karakute.
And then let's see. This is a possible final bout for both of them. Then what a big Reaper Renz got there.
We already knew from earlier, as we already saw, that possibly Renz has already high rolled the lobby with a very early golden crowd
Early
favorite
brand.
and an
Crowd
early
favorite
brand.
And I guess this secures the spot for Renz in this lobby.
But yes, but it still wouldn't matter because as we already said earlier nga, the first and second place finishes is going to be secured by Map and Rainy with their very consistent performance in this tournament.
So that concludes the final round. Renz winning the lobby in the fourth bout, in the fourth game.
Okay, moving on to our scoreboard naman. The top scorer of the tournament is Mapo despite disconnecting. Partida pa niya yon, na-disconnect siya dun sa final lobby natin. Getting 22 points in RainyDaze despite ending up at 5th place, gets 20 points pa rin, affording him the second place finish. And not too far behind, sadly, JCtepi with 18 points. Fourth place going to Renz with 15 points. Followed by PinkPaw at 12 points. Philip with 10 points. WiffWaff with 9. Pasaya na siya doon because he finishes at 7th place. Anything but 8 daw. Yet sadly, the 8th place is reserved sadly for PJ this tournament. So congratulations to Mapo and RainyDaze for dominating this tournament. Like their leads were very substantial going into the final lobby. 'Di ba? Pero very good showing then for JCtepi being just 2 points away. 'Di ba? If RainyDaze messed up just a little more and ended up in 7th place, nakahabol siguro si JCtepi. 'Di ba? Pero
And then and I just want to share to the viewers that the both Mapo and RainyDaze the top placers here in this tournament was also the top placers on the last endless duos.
So may pedigree na sila kumbaga of being tournament winners when it comes to Battlegrounds, no?
Wala ka dun eh. Wala ka dun eh. Shout out for ano pala? For AKG Games. We very thank you for sponsoring the event, and as well for Endly Pogi for uh, for having here in our background, instructing us and doing the overlays of the stream. And also
So,
for we shout out for iStick also, um here in the Discord channel but muted.
naka, kung gusto nyo, you guys can request kung papayagan ni Enly to unmute iStick in order for him to give us his signature laugh. Diba? Pampag-good vibes lang, kumbaga.
Unmute iStick. Oh, he's
Nahiya,
AFK, I
nahiya.
think.
Nahiya
Nahiya.
ang...
Hello, hello.
Ayan na, ito
Ayun.
na si iStick.
Yan na
Diba?
si iStick.
Grabe
Paunlakan
yung
mo
iStick,
naman
ano
ang
masasabi
ating
mo?
viewers sa iyong
hello.
mahiwagang boses at mas mahiwagang tawa.
How can I do this?
Kulang pa, MACnavy, patawanin mo pa, kilitiin mo pa.
Okay na.
Oh.
Oh, di ba? Pampag-good vibes to the lobby, guys. The very lovable iStick with the more lovable laugh.
Congrats to to those who played a while ago. Grabe, ang epic talaga ng laban nila.
Ikaw, sino ba
iStick,
ang
ano
favorite mo
masasabi
na
mo?
contestant kanina?
Ano ulit?
Anong
Yung
masasabi
favorite
mo?
mo? Anong masasabi mo? Kay WiffWaff, anong masasabi mo kay WiffWaff?
Si WiffWaff, medyo daw na bad trip daw siya kanina eh. Pero medyo okay naman yung laro niya. Pero may konti lang misplays. Pero si Paige, medyo na-disappoint sa
Grabe, wala kang awa.
Grabe,
iStick, tinawanan mo
grabe.
talaga si Paige. Lagot ka
Grabe.
mamaya. Lagot ka mamaya.
Grabe. We asked you for your opinion, pero not that brutal naman, iStick. Alam namin na wala naglaro ng Murlocs.
Na-excite ako talaga nung nag-Murloc si Paige. Hello? Talaga? Seryoso?
Okay. Wow. We were just informed that iStick won the raffle.
Ababa.
So, iStick, hoodie mo ba?
Siyempre. Dito na ako. Thank you, Henley. Ulit?
Nagkaroon ng hocus-pocus. De, joke lang.
Congrats ulit sa lahat naglaro. Laro na si Mapo, grabe. Kahit nag-misplay pa rin siya. Panalo pa rin.
Well, that's Mapo for you.
Okay, so wrapping up lang, guys. Final thank you to AKG Games, our sponsor for this tournament. And of course, again, thank you to Enli and Kara, who is working behind the scenes to make this tournament run as smoothly as possible. And syempre, to iStick, who graced us with his presence and his magical laugh. Diba? Guys, alam nyo na kung ano yung intoxicating iStick laugh. Diba? Kung nagtataka kayo, ano ang pinagkakaadikan namin, yun ang tawa ni iStick. And lastly, of course, thank you sa aking co-caster na si MACnavy. Na una, kinakabahan pa. Diba? Pero,
Thank you also
sabi nga nila,
for,
sexy voice daw. Sabi nung isang isang viewer natin sa Twitch.
Thank you also, Weatherlight, for guiding me in this casting. And also, thank you for the viewers for bearing with me, even though I think I'm not good at casting. But still, thank you for staying here, listening to us.
Okay, so like
And
and follow
so,
na lang Enly's Twitch channel, and also AKG Games in Facebook. In order for you to be able to be updated with the latest tournaments and happenings when it comes to Blizzard games here in the Philippines. Diba? So I guess that's it. Yeah, good night to everyone. Thank you to all of the
night!
viewers.
Ayong
DC
gabi!
lobbies na, guys. Tara.
Chilabis! Bye-bye!